Take it, Jimmy. We're back. It's the unified CXM experience, and I'm your host, Grad Kahn, CXO, Chief Experience Officer at Sprinklr. New York Stock Exchange listed company, ticker symbol CXM. All right, so I want to talk about amnesia today. I'm going to talk about amnesia in the context of marketing. So you may have heard me tell my 50 first date story. So I'm going to do my 50 first date story first, and I'm just going to level set that and kind of get us on the same page, and then we will then go from there. And I'll talk a little bit about the amnesia that we have as marketers and how deeply disturbing that is to customers. So 50 First Dates is a 2004 American rom-com. 2004. Wow. And it stars Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. And both, it was actually, I would say, deeply underrated. It kind of, it won some MTV awards and stuff like that. But it is a pretty amazing movie. And I just think that Adam Sandler at the time, and maybe even Drew Barrymore at the time, weren't taken seriously enough for the movie to be taken as seriously as it should have been. But it really was just an absolutely wonderful film. And so I'll give you kind of a couple quick sort of just understanding of what it is, and so you'll understand it. Drew Barrymore, the whole thing was shot in Oahu, Hawaii. So it's all set in Hawaii. And Drew Barrymore suffers from a fictitious memory impairment called Goldfield syndrome. But it's basically similar to a short-term memory loss and anterograde amnesia. Adam plays the role of Henry. He's a womanizing marine veterinarian, and he falls for Drew Barrymore, whose name is Lucy, and then he discovers that she has this amnesia, and she forgets him a day later. So every day when she wakes up, it's a new day. And so he resolves to win her over and win her every day. So every day he learns a bit more about her. And it's not dissimilar from Andy McDowell.
Groundhog Day.
And thank you. I'm going to stay with this, though. We're not even going to edit that out. Okay, so it's not dissimilar from Andy McDowell and Bill Murray in Groundhog Day. Well, Bill Murray learns a bit more about her, but she never knows because he's going back in time over and over again. So basically, Adam Sandler learns more and more about Drew Barrymore. She every day doesn't know who he is, and it's a new first date. So 50 First Dates, and it's a charming film and a great ending. And I'm not going to tell you any more about it. You should watch it. I feel like marketing is like that. Every time I walk into an Apple store, they're like, "Hello," like they have no idea who I am. I've spent millions of dollars on Apple, millions and millions of dollars, like legitimately, literally my own money. This is money I could have put into a cottage, or I could have kept for myself. I bought Apple equipment to run my agency and to get computers for my employees, like millions and millions of dollars. And I walk into an Apple store and it's like, "Hi, hey, Mr. I don't know who you are, and welcome to the Apple store." It's crazy. I've got to finally get a new iPhone. So I'm going to have this experience tomorrow. I'm going to go into the Apple store tomorrow, and they're going to be, "Hello, nice to see you. What are you here for?" And I'll be like, "I'm here to get a new iPhone." They don't know I've purchased every single iPhone ever made, right? From day one, standing in line on day one, purchased all of them. They're just like, I'm just Mr. Nobody walking in that store. And I will say, though, on the positive side, I'm not trying to make fun of Apple too much, but I'll go back there a couple more times. I'm still, believe it or not, using my iPhone 10. This has been an amazing, amazing machine. The original iPhone 10, not the S. And I love technology. I might buy new stuff all the time. It's not like I don't buy new tech all the time, but I've just not been able to make the case to replace this phone. It's been an absolute star performer. It's been flawless. And I mentioned this out loud about 2 weeks ago, and ever since then, the batteries really run down fast. So it's finally giving up the ghost. I can't run it for more than half an hour before the battery starts to die. So I've got to get a new phone now. But it has been an absolute amazing, amazing device. I think I'm 3 generations behind at this point. So, but it's going to be fun to upgrade. But I have really loved this one. It's been fantastic. I'm convinced that they made a mistake on this phone and they built it too well. It's like the car that goes 100 miles on a gallon. They usually end up, taking it back. So I'm going this weekend. They won't know me from Adam, and I'll be starting from scratch. And why is that? Why is it that I'll go into a clothing store, they won't know who I am, even though I may have spent tens of thousands of dollars there? That's super irritating, actually. I'll go into Tom Ford I'll be in Tom Ford the next 3 weeks. I just had knee surgery, so I can't really try on a lot of clothes right now because I'm in a giant cast. When that cast comes off in about 3 weeks, I'll be at Tom Ford looking at suits. I've spent tons of money there, and they're going to be like, "Hello, nice to meet you." I get it maybe in the physical world, but why is this also true online? Like, how is it possible that I could go to apple.com right now and they'll go, "Hi, Grad. How can we help you?" Not, "Grad, dude, you still using an iPhone 10? Come on, join the party. Here's the reasons you should switch." They don't do that. Now, there is a very interesting thing on the Apple site where you can tell them what phone you have and they'll compare it to the newest models. And then they'll show you what your phone has and what the new model has and what the difference will be. It's actually extremely well done. It's done very graphically. It's beautiful. It's like an absolutely fantastic product versus product comparison. The best thing I have ever seen from anybody. It's not those check marks and those kind of Harvey ball diagrams. None of that kind of stuff. This is like visual graphics showing you comparison one over the other. It's very easy to tell what you're going to get when you upgrade. But you have to choose and tell them what phone you have. They know what phone I have. Like, they know this already. Like, what is going on? And I go to Amazon. I kind of like was coming back. I was at physical therapy today. I should talk about this too. I'm going to do a whole separate podcast on my knee surgery. I had the most absolutely amazing experience at the Hospital for Special Surgery here in New York. Dr. David Alchek did my knee. He did my left knee in February, did my right knee now, and it was actually extraordinary. It was just an extraordinary. Literally, it was such a good experience. And I know this sounds kind of crazy. I would do it again. Like, if David called me up and said, "Hey, Grad, it looks like we got to get you back in the room because we forgot, we left a scalpel in your knee or something like that," I'd be like, "That sounds good to me. I'm ready to go." Really great experience. So I'll come back to that. But so I was coming back from PT, and Rob Andrews is my therapist. Another fantastic service experience. Rob's incredible. Anyway, so I'm coming back, and I'm just a little tired, and it's like a little sore. Like, just I'll put that out there. And they did take my knee apart, and it's been a week, so I'm still pretty early. And I was like, I kind of felt like that sort of, that kind of need for comfort food. But I don't really feel like eating. It was like, but it's almost like that feeling of I need macaroni and cheese, that sort of feeling. But I was like, what's my comfort food, my comfort brain food? That's like, what's my comfort brain food? And I thought, I haven't read a comic in a long time. And I think I saw an ad. It was driving through Times Square. Well, not driving. I was obviously in the back of an Uber. I can't drive. But I mean, I can drive. I'm not allowed to drive for 30 days. But I was in the back of an Uber, and we were driving through Times Square, and there was an ad for, I think it's HBO Max, and it was for Doom Patrol, which was one of my favorite comics as a kid. It's a DC comic. It's one of my few DC comics I really like. And I thought, Doom Patrol, man, I'd love to see that. And it was second season. Second season? I didn't even know there was a first season of Doom Patrol. So I'm thinking, oh man, I'd love to watch that. And then I was thinking, I miss comics. And I miss graphic novels. I just haven't read one in a long time. So I just got on my phone while I'm bouncing around in the back of this Uber, and picked up a few Will Eisners and a couple other things I'd never heard of, and it was great. And I've got a bunch of graphic novels arriving in the next few days, and I'll quite enjoy reading those over the next little while. But it was a funny experience for me because I've been on Amazon for a really long time. Like I'm in my second decade for sure, right? My third decade on Amazon. Holy crap. Yeah, I'm in my third decade on Amazon. Okay. Amazon literally knows the color of my underwear. Amazon knows stuff about me that most people don't know. Amazon knows like secret stuff about me. Amazon knows like, scandalous stuff about me. Amazon knows a lot of stuff about me, right? And I get in there and type in graphic novel, and it didn't deliver stuff to me that showed that it knowed me. I had to like search and kind of discover, and I got a great recommendation from Randy what was the recommendation you had, Randy? It was
Sweet Tooth.
Sweet Tooth. Okay, I haven't ordered that one yet, but Sweet Tooth sounds really interesting. So I'm picking up recommendations from others, but what is going on? How can I be in my third decade on Amazon and I'm still trying to like search for stuff? Doesn't make any sense to me. And that should be the gold standard. They definitely know what they need to know. And so I'm just like putting a challenge out there, which is why do we insist as an industry on doing amnesia marketing all the time? And why do we behave like a group of amnesiacs? We're like, so there's probably a word that's amnesiacs and marketing, or amnesiacs and advertising, or amnesiacs and personalization that somehow go together. But marketing amnesia, I'll just stay with that for a second. Marketing amnesia is a real problem. And the great thing about marketing amnesia is there's a cure. Kind of like where I'm going with this, actually. There's a cure for marketing amnesia. The cure is unified CXM. Because in a unit, the problem with all of these things, even in a system as developed as Amazon, is that they're all siloed. And even in Amazon, the teams are separate. In a unified CXM system, all the customer-facing functions are on a single platform, and there's a single customer data platform, a CDP, that tells you everything the customer has purchased, plus their behaviors, kind of Google and Adobe data, plus their experience data. What you get from Sprinkler. Behaviors across social platforms, behaviors on review sites, behaviors on blogs, forums, things like Reddit, that kind of stuff. You put all that together, you get a really complete picture. And if you did that for me, if Amazon said, this is what Grad's purchased, these are Grad's behaviors, and this is what Grad talks about publicly, and he types the word graphic novel into Amazon, we know exactly what to show him. We know exactly what to show him. A cure for marketing amnesia, unified CXM. I wonder who's going to do this first. Because just think about it for a second. Is there any aspect of your life where you go to an online retailer or a physical retailer or both and they don't behave like they've got amnesia? I don't think so. Like we are surrounded by a sea of amnesiacs. And I think part of the reason is that we are still carrying a broadcast mentality around. The broadcast mentality is I'm talking to anonymous people and I'm telling them what to think about me. We've got to change to a conversational mindset, which is, and if you're having a conversation with someone, gosh darn it, you need to know them. You can't have a conversation with someone who's not responding and who you don't know. So think about the last conversation you had with a stranger. Maybe something happened. Maybe you're sitting next to each other. Today I had one at HSS. I was in the HSS West Side facility. That's where I'm going to PT. And I'm pretty stumpy right now. I'm like a week away. I'm a week out of surgery. Well, that's not completely true. I went in September 1st, so it's the 10th today. So I'm 9 days from surgery, right? Just had my sutures out yesterday. Actually, that hurt like shit. That was really hard. that was the one part of the experience that really hurt. But I'm like, doing pretty well. Actually, I got a wow from the therapist. I'm pretty strong and I'm making a lot of progress. And I come steaming in and got my appointment and sort of lay down in the chair. And then the person right across from me had the exact same surgery, different doctor, but exact same surgery. But he was a week ahead of me. So he's 2 weeks, I'm 1 week. And he's sitting down as well. And he looks at me and he goes, "When did you have yours?" And I said, like last week. He's like, "Wow." He said, "You're doing really well." So I don't know what situation he was in a week ago, but he seemed pretty surprised that I was moving around and using my leg. And I said, "Yeah, it's going great and stuff." And it was funny. We suddenly had common ground. We'd both just had the same surgery, and we had a really nice conversation. We were talking there, and we're kind of connecting. And that's what conversation requires. It requires some level of understanding. I don't know what he does and who he is and all that kind of stuff, but we had enough common ground that we could start to talk about that, talk about the doctors we had, talk about the experience we had. And he was clearly not in great shape and it wasn't going as well for him. So there's a little bit of that commiseration. And I told him, hey, I'd done my left knee a few months ago, and they all go at different speeds and they're all in different ways. So you'll be okay. Like, you'll get there. And he seemed to be like encouraged by that because it was his first one. This is my 4th knee surgery. Third one on this right leg, and I've only had one on the left leg. And let's just try to keep it there. But after 4, you started to get pretty pretty experienced in knee surgeries. And so it was a good conversation. It was a real conversation too. And we weren't connecting at the where do your kids go to school level. We were connecting at the thing that was relevant to the two of us. So when I go into a store or when I go to an online property, I don't necessarily want them asking about, how's my grandmother feeling. I don't need them I don't need them digging into that. But I do want them to be able to have a relevant conversation with me about the things that they can offer and do for me. And this is where this marketing amnesia is a huge issue. And so I'm going to sort of start a campaign, which is, how do we cure marketing amnesia? And the pill is Unified CXM. Yeah, I'm all about medicine right now. All right. I'll kind of use this as a kickoff, and we'll come back to this a few times. I'm not going to tell the 51st Dates story again. So if you enjoyed that, I'd encourage you to get the movie. If you like Hawaii, it's amazing. There's some great shots in it. Just enjoy it. It's just a wonderful, wonderful bit of fluff that's just very, 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 very fun. And then we'll talk more about marketing amnesia in the next few episodes. For the what is this show? Just kidding. Just doing a little amnesia demonstration. For the Unified CXM Experience, my name's Brad Kahn. I'm your host, CXO, Chief Experience Officer at Sprinkler, and I'll see you next time.